It is the final day here at the 2015 Generation Adidas Cup Championship Saturday. And to open up today, we have our Premier Division Championship, the New York Red Bulls Academy facing off against Deportivo Independiente Medellín out of Colombia. David Goss and Jonathan Yardley here for MLSsoccer.com. We've covered this whole tournament for you, but we finally reached trophy time here, and this is a game we're excited about. You have two teams, big, athletic, physical, great individual skill on both sides. We've seen how lethal that Independiente Medellín has been. On the other side, the Red Bulls only conceded 2 goals so far in this competition. Jonathan, what are you looking forward to most?
Of the 16 teams in this group, these two are the best. It's been pretty clear. They really could have been competitive in the Champions Division as well. Awesome to see them go head-to-head. And here we go.
We kick off our first final of the day. We'll have the Championship Division final later this evening. But right now, it's the New York Red Bulls against Independiente Medellín. Fernandez starts us off early. The crossfield ball to Rodrigo D'Andrea. And he gets there first. We'll get you our lineups right in a minute. But the New York Red Bulls coming out immediately. A lot of energy here. Taken down on the top of the box. And our referee, Randall Kelly, with the call early on. The New York Red Bulls starting lineup. Xavier Kennedy has started in goal throughout this tournament. The center backs, Kyle Perno, and the captain, Mason Deeds, who will be a factor here on this set piece. Sean Teixeira at right back, Noah Powder at left back. The holding midfield, Ryan Mingachos and Jared Gilby. JP Marin in the offensive mid, Omir Fernandez and Rodrigo D'Andrea, who we saw on that cross. And up top, the big goal scorer, Brian Saramago. Set piece ready to come in here. Mason Deeds already a goal so far off a set piece. The shot comes in. D'Andrea, and it just whisks wide of that near post of our Independiente goalkeeper. Your starting lineup for Independiente. In goal as every game so far, number 99, Camilo Perez, right to back along that back line. You have Alejandro Mazo at right back, Johan Romagna, Mario Lopez in the center backs, and Christian Valencia at left back in the midfield. You have the captain, the creative fulcrum of this team, and potentially the best player on this team, in number 120, Ivan Mora, right there wearing the captain's armband, defending against JP Marin. Brian Zoluga in the offensive midfield. You have John Gutierrez. And up top, the attacking three, the three-headed monster of this Independiente team, as Omir Fernandez gets in here and whisks the shot wide. But the three attacking players who have wowed us throughout this tournament, you have John Gutierrez at holding midfield, Daniel Cascio up left, Naisir Carmona, the leading goal scorer in this tournament, and number 121, Jerson Valencia on the right. And this Red Bulls defense will have their hands full all day.
Yeah, tricky wingers. They love to go 1v1. And then, as you mentioned, the word lethal describes Independiente's play in the penalty area so far in this tournament. And primarily among them, Carmona with 5 goals in the tournament.
We talked to the head coach for the New York Red Bulls, Simon Nee, before this game, and he said this is their second opportunity to face international competition after playing the Brazilian club Recife. They had to come out on the front foot. They had to impose themselves early, and immediately in the first 5 minutes, we've already seen them. 2 crosses, that chance there for Fernandez, the set piece. Jonathan really taking to what the coach wants from them.
Yeah, against Recife, it took a penalty kick and what the Red Bulls felt was a questionable call to really get them into the game. After giving up that early goal, they dominated. Today, they don't want to have to play from behind, and a really good start responding to what Simon Nee asked of his players.
And Independiente Medellín really hasn't been on the back foot at all this tournament. They came out early and got a 2-0 lead in the first game against the Portland Timbers, defeated the New England Revolution as well as the Colorado Rapids in the group stage. And then in the semifinals against Sagantos, they did a great job of dominating the game, controlling play, and eventually they got themselves ahead 1-0. Sagantos pushed late but couldn't really trouble Perez in goal. And Medellín found themselves here in the final. A yellow card issued there to the left back, Christian Valencia, the first yellow of the game. Second free kick coming in here behind Mason Deeds.
Yeah, he's who they look for in these set pieces. He scored the first goal of the tournament for New York. He's the captain. He's target A on every free kick.
Gutierrez gets it stolen off him by Powder. This Red Bulls team coming out, physically dominating early on. Now, one of the issues we've seen for teams in this tournament is when they have the better of the play, not taking advantage of it. And now Carmona has a chance to turn, gets it out left to Castro. Drops it in now to Mora. Ivan Mora looks for the cross. It's going to go out for a corner kick. And this is the danger for this team. You push numbers forward, Jonathan, they can counter, and they don't need a lot of numbers to score.
Yeah, we saw both wingers flying forward there with nothing in front of them but green grass. Powder and Teixeira, the Red Bulls outside backs, don't want them to play tentative. You still want them to be able to get forward, but they're going to have to backtrack in a hurry.
And they're both very talented in the attack. But like you said, we'll have to be smart. Corner comes in here from Mora on the near post. Knocked away, it looked like, by Perno. Or excuse me. Kyle Perno, center back. This Independiente team now getting on the ball a little bit. Independiente Medellín, of course, out of Medellin in Colombia. Have come here and really wowed teams throughout. The original club of the FC Dallas head coach, Oscar Pareja, or Papi as he likes to be known.
You can see Jared Gilby, one of the Red Bulls' central midfielders, waving his teammates forward. They want to put pressure on Independiente, not give them the time that was afforded them in earlier games.
This Medellin team likes to play over the top. Great steal there by Fernandez. Saramago now up top is going to have a big battle here with Romagna and Mario Lopez, two big, strong, physical center backs. Noah Powder able to win it high up the field. Red Bulls trying to put pressure on. Good space here from Ngachos. Now D'Andrea. Great work from him. Gets it back to Mingachos. Can he get room to shoot here on the right side? The sliding tackle comes in from Valencia. JP Marin gets taken down. It's going to be another free kick here.
This is more pressure than we've seen any team put on Independiente in the entire tournament. They played 3 MLS teams in the group stage. They played Sagantos and dominated them in the semifinals. This is by far the biggest test.
Early taken here. Wide open as Saramago can't get the finish on it. Mason Deeds at the far post. Tries to flick it over the head and get to the end of it. Now Perez trying to launch the counterattack quickly. Number 121 here, Jerson Valencia, is a dangerous winger, but Noah Powder has had him in his pocket early on. And this Red Bulls team, one of the things we saw from them that we thought would be interesting in this matchup, bigger and more physical than the other teams that have faced Independiente, which has been an advantage for them. Jonathan, early on, how have you seen that play out?
Yeah, the Red Bulls have been tighter to them, putting a body on players. So far, though, the fouls have been committed by Independiente. The Red Bulls attackers have actually been quicker than the Colombian defenders.
D'Andrea's in here. Gets it off to Saramago. The shot blocked just in the end. Another great opportunity, though, for the New York Red Bulls. Here in this first half, first of 2 35-minute halves here at the Generation Adidas Cup. If it's tied at the end of regulation, we go immediately to penalty kicks to decide a winner. 5 substitutions for either team. You cannot return after being substituted. And the one who wins in the end gets a big trophy, Jonathan.
The simplest rule of all.
It's very rare that teams get to play in a final, especially at this age group. Find teams not playing as many tournaments as they played when they were younger. It's an opportunity to win. We've seen how much it means to the team so far in this tournament. We saw Eintracht Frankfurt defeat FC Dallas in the semifinal in our last game on Thursday night, and we saw the emotion from both teams after that finish.
Red Bull's central midfielders really getting the better of Independiente so far. Mingachos, Gilby, and JP Marin, the best we've seen from him in this tournament.
Marin hasn't had a lot of space to operate in most of the games in this tournament, finding himself in good spots so far today. Just over 8 minutes into this first half here, the New York Red Bulls coming out a lot of energy, a lot of high pressure, knocking this Independiente team back on their heels, which we haven't seen so far in this tournament. Good high pressure there from the Red Bulls. And Naisir Carmona, number 123, 5 goals so far in this tournament. 2 goals in the first game. Had a goal in the last game against Sagantos. Just true striker's finish. Gave up his body. Played that last line. Got in there. Gave up his body. Got knocked over by the goalkeeper. Had to be subbed out eventually due to his injury. But the man just knows how to score goals. Cleared out by Lopez. Saramago putting on good pressure there.
We are getting a little bit of atmosphere. One of the Red Bulls' younger age group teams is here, obviously rooting on New York. And there are some Independiente jerseys and some Colombian flags down to our left.
Independiente has been well supported throughout this tournament. The first team currently in 5th place in the Serie A in Colombia. They've had success in Colombian League as well as in Copa Libertadores and Sudamericana. That throw-in goes in favor of the Red Bulls. It's a Red Bulls team with a few pieces that have been here before as this shot comes in from Gilby, high and wide. Good to see this Red Bulls team, though, taking chances, taking risks, trying to get shots off when they can around the box. Camilo Perez, the goalkeeper for Independiente, hasn't been challenged much this tournament, and so we don't really know how he'll stand up under pressure.
They've outscored teams 10-2 and won every game by 2 goals in Independiente's 4-0 run so far. So the Red Bulls plan to put them in a close one and maybe put them behind for the first time.
For the Red Bulls, they've scored 5 goals so far in this tournament, only conceded the 1 from that penalty kick against Recife, opened up the 1-0 victory over Houston. That 1-1 game against Recife where they won. It's nice there. Carmona gets in here. And good work there from Xavier Kennedy. As I was about to say, they got an extra point in that tie because of Xavier Kennedy's heroics and the penalty kick shootout, saving 2 shots to get his team an extra point in the group stage. So it works here at the Generation Adidas Cup.
But that right there is where New York needs to be careful. It was very similar to how the Red Bulls' first team is playing at the moment. Force a steal and try to turn it into instant offense. It almost went against New York there.
Gilby with good options here. JP Marin, room to run. Saramago takes it off him. His pass is blocked. Andrea here, Rodrigo Andrea, number 17, has been, I think, one of the best players for this Red Bulls team in this tournament, especially in the attack. And the Red Bulls now, we haven't seen Independiente really give teams this much time on the ball so far in this tournament. Looking a little bit scattered is Independiente. Can the Red Bulls take advantage of their ability to control play here at the open of this game? JP Marin, space. Gets it wide right to the fullback, Teixeira. The shot blocked off the chest of Mario Lopez. And then a collision there. Valencia wins the tackle, and Castro comes away with it. Carmona gets himself on the ball, beats a couple Red Bulls defenders. Just past the outstretched foot of Powder. Jerson Valencia able to get to it. One of the big danger men on this team here, Jerson Valencia on the ball. Standing over it, Noah Powder gets beat to the end line. Valencia in space. Cross blocked away in the end by Kyle Perno. And right there, Jonathan, we see the danger of this Independiente team.
This is what they love to do. They live for those 1v1 matchups. We were curious to see how Powder and Teixeira would match up. Round 1 went to Independiente there.
Ivan Mora here, the captain on the ball. He's already got 2 assists in this tournament, knocked away by Kennedy. Still alive, Gutierrez. Gets the cross into Carmona, saved by Kennedy. And then offsides called on the second opportunity. Xavier Kennedy laying into his back line right now, but coming up with another big save early on in this game.
Xavier Kennedy, one of our players of the tournament so far, that was crucial because for the Red Bulls to dominate the first 15 minutes and give up a goal there it would have been really demoralizing. And from close range, he stayed big and made the reaction safe.
Mangachos gets it stolen off him in the midfield. Jerson Valencia coming down this right side. He's going to get a shot away. Xavier Kennedy gets the touch to it just enough and keeps it out. What a series there. Xavier Kennedy tipped that onto the far post. A battle then off the rebound. It looked like John Gutierrez and Nacer Carmona for Independiente. And it eventually went off a Red Bulls player. The save there from Kennedy. Immense from him so far. And he's down now. The little injury. How has Kennedy kept this team in the game right now?
By his fingernails on that one and by the width of the post. But these Red Bulls outside backs have to be careful. They're getting caught forward. And the center backs, distribution-wise, need to be cleaner.
Ivan Mora here with the service from the corner kick. Puts it right on Kennedy. Kennedy able to control it. And this is one of the storylines that we've seen in this tournament is MLS teams coming out dominating early, not getting the goal from the domination, and then ending up getting hurt later on. This Red Bulls team has come out. They've pressured high. The fullbacks pushing up the field. They've gotten opportunities that they haven't finished. And this Independiente team very happy just to counterattack through their wingers. Saramago looks to play J.P. Marin into space. Romagna gets there first and out for a throw-in.
Well, Independiente is being selective as far as when they press. And so these Red Bulls center mids, in that case, on the previous play, it was Mangachos, expect to have time. And when he was under pressure, he wasn't ready for it. So that's a communication issue. The next play, they played him. He had acres of space, but moved it quickly off his feet without turning because he was expecting that pressure.
Out for another throw-in. And this Independiente team, I think, willing to go out and get caught up in a shootout maybe, feeling like they can outscore another team. This Red Bulls team a little bit more controlled and defensive in their style throughout this tournament. An opportunity here for the opening goal, saved off the line. Saramago there getting in for the shot, and that one saved off the line by the right back, Alejandro Mazo. Opportunities galore for these two teams, and heroic defending and goalkeeping has kept it even at 0-0. Some of the best action we've seen all tournament to open up this game. Teixeira, the fullback, gets taken down in the midfield. The foul's going to go against Brian Zulaga, really the only midfielder who has to stay back and defend on this Independiente team. And what an opportunity for the Red Bulls again.
Yeah, and you mentioned it almost like a basketball team. Independiente wants to run. They want an open game. They believe they're better in the final third than you are, and so far in this tournament they have been. Again, the first goal goes without saying, but we're going to emphasize it here because of kind of the up and down nature of the tournament. Red Bulls need to get in front.
Looks like Gilby here to take the set piece. Curls it into that far post towards Deeds and Romagna there. That should be a good battle on set pieces to watch out for. Now Independiente some space. Huge steal and open space there by Teixeira. Even if he can't keep it on the attack, at least to slow down that counter.
But the numbers there were worth watching. When the ball turned over, Independiente had 4 against 2 at the back.
Carmona trying to beat Perno. Great help there from Gilby. And eventually Powder comes away with it. Noah Powder and Sean Teixeira, two fullbacks for the Red Bulls, interchanging there in the midfield. They both like to get forward. D'Andrea has Powder down the left. Romagna over to cover. Great work there from the center back, Romagna, to cover that ball out.
It's really stretched right now. We've seen teams stay compact, especially Sagantos against Independiente in the semifinals. Both teams willing to open up here. And again, kind of favors Independiente.
A track meet so far in this game, end-to-end action. You probably couldn't even say what the save of the game is so far. There have been about 4. And we're just about halfway through this first half of 2 35-minute halves. The New York Red Bulls and Independiente Medellín facing off in this division championship game here at Toyota Stadium in Frisco, Texas. the group stage played out. Toyota Soccer Park and the complex around this stadium. And now moving in for the semifinals and final into the big stadium. Fernandez here with the cross, and it goes out.
That was a terrific long ball from Perno. Left-footed delivery of about 40 yards.
Kyle Perno absent, actually, for the middle 2 games of this tournament as he had to return back to the New York area to take an exam. Classes come first, of course. But he's returned here, and he's slotted back into the center back role for the semifinal and now final. Fernandez, D'Andrea switching flanks. Fernandez creating some decent opportunities so far down that right wing now. JP Marin able to turn on his man, get into the box. He's got open space now on that end line. Finds Saramago. Saramago off the post. The second opportunity still not cleared. And into the safe hands of Camilo Perez. We've already hit now 2 posts in this game. The best opportunity of the game for the New York Red Bulls. This game still tied 0-0.
JP Marin did everything right. Put it on a plate. And Brian Saramago did just about everything right. Put it in the right spot, but wide of the mark, and saw it come back off the post.
Second yellow card of the game. This one's going to be issued to Brian Zaluga. 2 so far, both against this Independiente team. And you'll never fault a player for trying to slot the ball in the corner, but Saramago there maybe could have just played into the open space. Tries to make sure it's unsavable and agonizingly hits the post. You really cannot predict what's going to happen next in this game, Jonathan. It's been an incredible amount of action on both ends. Painstakingly close to goals for both teams, and it seems like a matter of when, not if, we get that first goal.
Yeah, we're going to get some goals. The Red Bulls have been on top, though, and as we've talked about, they need to consolidate that on the scoreboard.
Teixeira there on the run. Gets tackled away. Gutierrez now to counter. Great step from Mason Dietz to win it in front of Carmona. And it goes out, and it's going to be a throw-in. Or excuse me, a free kick to the New York Red Bulls. Mason Dietz, the captain of this team at center back, has been so strong for this team. Got them the winning goal in the first game. Has been a great leader for them at the back throughout, and he's going to have to be at the top of his game today with these attacking players. Carmona into open space. He's onside. Xavier Kennedy able to beat him there. Still alive, and he slides out and makes the save. That's where Carmona is at his best. Xavier Kennedy, great job to read that play and play hero.
And Noah Powder took a big risk. Instead of trying to run back, he stepped up and tried to play Carmona offside. Independiente got the timing right, and only Xavier Kennedy one more time bailed out New York.
And Carmona, just that true natural striker, runs that end line. Mason Dietz stepped up once he won that ball. Carmona immediately recognizing, finding that open space. Fernandez here gets the shot away with the left foot, but that one's high and wide.
This is one thing that's interesting about Independiente. This is the deepest we've seen them play. It's almost all counterattack. Yes, they've relied on their wings for attacking play, but they've had more space in the midfield, more time in the midfield in other games. So this is, in a sense, a different way of playing, and yet we see how effective they can still be.
Ivan Mora, the captain of this team, the linchpin in midfield, yet to really get control of this game, as we've seen him do throughout the tournament. Here he is. Good work there from Mingachos to keep the ball. A chance to run forward. A wayward pass towards Fernandez. And you have to say, while the Red Bulls played a great game and got a win against the LA Galaxy in the semifinals, this is the best we've seen this New York Red Bulls team play so far in this tournament. And it felt like from game 1 to game 2 to game 3, they continued to just improve and improve, and now peaking here in the final. Teixeira's long ball, won by Independiente. In control now for the Red Bulls. Saramago splitting out wide. Doesn't have any numbers with him. Looks to run at Mario Lopez and loses possession.
It's really stretched right now. The distance between these teams' front and back lines is enormous. Who does that favor? Independiente. A little bit better, a little more comfortable running in space.
We saw a clash of styles in the last semifinal. Independiente, big, physical, aggressive. Sagantos, very measured in their style, playing as one unit. As Carmona gets in here, Xavier Kennedy has to be quick to come out as well. Xavier Kennedy not happy with the head referee, Randall Kelly, right now. Feels like Carmona's left his foot in late twice now. And Carmona down off the end of the field. And Kennedy here bringing his back line together to talk to them. He has to make sure, though, that he doesn't get himself a yellow card for yelling here with the referee. He has to stay under control. Carmona, we said, collided with the Sagantos goalkeeper Saito on his goal to open up the scoring in the semifinals. Down here again after making some contact with Xavier Kennedy.
Now, why are we stopped? The player's off the field. You play.
But this would be as big a loss as there could be for Independiente if they lose their lethal goal scorer up top in Carmona, Jonathan.
But both teams seem to want to take the water break, and Randall Kelly trying to wave him back onto the field. Yes, Carmona, obviously, the numbers speak for themselves, but his play and his presence in the middle is very important. We saw Independiente struggle at times when he left the game against Sagantos. Of course, then they got the second goal, so you can't say they struggled too much. But Carmona, very important if you were to miss him for an entire half.
Even when he's not on the ball, he takes so much attention by the center backs that allows those wingers the space to operate. In the last game, Felipe Cardona started in the attacking midfield role, so he could step in, and John Gutierrez, who's playing that role now, could move up to center forward if they need to make a change. But right now, playing man down for this Independiente team.
And for New York, go right now. You've been on the front foot. You got an extra man in there.
This Independiente team, of course, has 5 substitutions they can use, but if they sub out Carmona, he cannot return. Noah Powder here making his run, maybe feeling a little bit of an opportunity to get forward now with that extra man. He gets dragged down.
And Zuluaga is on a yellow card.
I believe that's Randall Kelly's just going to talk to him.
He's telling you one more.
Zuluaga has to be careful. We've seen some red cards given in this tournament. The Aspire Academy, Palmeiras.
And the Galaxy on Thursday, they benefited the Red Bulls. They scored after they went up a man.
As well as River Plate early on. The New York Red Bulls in that game really dominated possession in the first half. Couldn't get the goal, and like you said, a red card for the LA Galaxy in the second half. The Andrea's service here, bouncing in the box, still alive. JP Marin gets it knocked away. Romagna does a good job of winning that one. Now the center back has time and space. Gets it to Valencia's feet. Jerson Valencia there with the quick cut. In Valencia, we've seen that willingness to come off the wing with the ball and attack down the middle of the field. Zulaga there. Carmona still yet to go on. Standing now at the midfield, but will continue. The head coach there for Independiente. As it's knocked away. Jorge Baranoche communicating, and Carmona immediately steps on the field and rips a shot from about 25 yards away. That goes high. And Jonathan, we saw him in the first game. Opportunity after opportunity. He could have maybe laid it off to a teammate, but he takes it himself. You're asking yourself what he's doing, and then immediately he's got 2 goals to his name.
Did we mention he's confident?
Noah Powder now down on the field, and we discussed it a little bit last game. The success Colombia's had with goal scorers in their recent history. Radamel Falcao, Jackson Martinez, Teo Gutierrez, Juan Pablo Angel. Some of the big names that have gone through and played for the Colombian national team. Some lethal goal scorers in the world, in Major League Soccer as well. Carmona in that vein as Noah Powder is helped up by the trainer. Now he'll have to go off.
A lot of conversation between the Red Bulls bench and the near side assistant referee James Brooks. And then Brooks spoke with the head ref, Randall Kelly. I think they're wondering exactly how Zuluaga escaped his second yellow there.
Head referee Randall Kelly, we said. The two assistants, Jennifer Garner and James Brooks, on the lines, and Marco Antonio Vega, our fourth official today. These referees have had a lot to deal with throughout this tournament, and they've done it all well. It looks like we have our first substitution getting ready, and it's going to be for Independiente. You'd think it's either Carmona's injury or maybe trying to get Zulaga off the field before he can pick up a red card.
The Red Bulls with 10 at the moment and do well to earn a corner.
So two substitutions now, one for either team coming. Looks like Noah Powder will not be able to continue in this game. So Red Bulls prepare a substitution. So first, the substitution for Independiente. Felipe Cardona comes on.
Player's gone off behind the goal. We'll get you his identity as soon as possible.
And then Kevin O'Toole will check in. So Noah Powder will not continue in this game. Unfortunate for him. He's played phenomenal all tournament, Trinidad and Tobago Youth International. And he will not get to continue that battle with Jerson Valencia. That'll be O'Toole's job. And it looks like it was the center midfielder, Zulaga, who checks off, picking up that early yellow card, getting called on that second foul. And smart there from Baranoche to not risk a red card for his team. D'Andrea's service knocked away at the near post. We'll see how this Independiente midfield reorganizes itself. Really no true defensive midfielder out there, although Ivan Mora has played that role. You want him up in the attack. Free kick called again, this time against John Gutierrez.
That was great work by D'Andrea to win the ball back. And gets another yellow card.
And that one shown to Gutierrez. So one yellow card player goes out and another one picks one up. This Independiente team, so much firepower out there on the field. Really, we've said it all game. On their back foot for the first time in this tournament. Physically not handling it that well, getting called. Numerous free kicks as well as 3 yellow cards already issued to their team. The Red Bulls yet to take advantage. Saramago hit the post. Camilo Perez has made 1 or 2 big saves on Saramago and JP Marin as well. Xavier Kennedy on the other end has made 2 massive saves to keep his team in this game. 0-0. One of the most exciting 0-0 first halves I've ever seen. A perfect way to start our final Saturday here. We've been bringing you this whole tournament, streaming and news and notes on MLSsoccer.com. We're excited for these last 2 games, these championships of both our divisions. Our second championship, 7:15 p.m. Central Time, 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time tonight on MLSsoccer.com. We'll have all that action for you. But right now, we're locked in a great game. 2 phenomenal teams going at it. End-to-end action early on. Fernandez lays it off there to Mingachos. Kevin O'Toole immediately on the field.
Nice left back, huh?
Yeah, pretty touch with his first opportunity. And the foul there going against JP Marin. Maybe for sitting a little bit on the ball.
Not a fan of that one.
Randall Kelly, right on top of that one, makes the call. Explaining to the Red Bulls his decision now. Red Bulls now have to defend. Taken quickly, now has to be sent back. Ivan Mora will go stand over this one. And it looks like Cardona has dropped deep alongside Ivan Mora, so a like-for-like substitution with Zulaga. Cardona in the last game came in at this attacking midfield role, but we didn't really see him that much in that role. It was more Ivan Mora moving up, creating the plays, had a delightful ball for the first goal outside of the foot from the midfield line, dropped it right over the top of the back line in the path of Naisir Carmona for the opening goal.
And that deeper position often gives him a little bit more space to see the field and pick out his pass. We know the Red Bulls saw that game. They watched the tape as well, and they're going to close down the space as best as possible on Mora wherever he is.
So Kevin O'Toole coming in, showing off his confidence immediately off the bench. He gets leveled there by Cardona. This Independiente team not happy right now. They can't be upset with the calls. They have to be upset with their team. Ivan Mora there trying to slow down Gilby. O'Toole out left. Good job by Gilby to cover that pass, keep the Red Bulls in the attack. And another foul and a yellow card now to the captain, Ivan Mora, and he's not happy at all. So every midfielder on this Independiente team has picked up a yellow card early on. Independiente struggling to deal with the dribbling and pace of this New York Red Bulls team.
When your opponent has 4 yellow cards and you have none, you're doing something right.
They got to make it count on the scoreboard, though. Just a few minutes left to play here in regular time of this, in stoppage time of this first half. Gilby with the ball in towards that far post. Still alive on that back post and in. Mason Deeds, the captain. Kyle Perno, this other center back, on this goal. Another set-piece goal for this New York Red Bulls team. And like we said, Jonathan, had to make it count. They finally do. Deportivo Independiente Medellin's trailing for the first time in this tournament.
It's a great ball in from Gilby. Both Deeds and Perno were there.
And Deeds jumps and battles with the center back, and it goes over both of their heads. Perno wide open on the far side. Camilo Perez, no chance to react. And you got to give Perno credit. He keeps his composure, puts that one in the far net, and gets his team a 1-0 lead. Jonathan, what a first half for this New York Red Bulls team.
Yeah, it's been terrific, and you finally get the payoff. People say, oh, you scored the goal from a set piece. They earned that set piece, right? With their movement through the midfield. They got 4 yellow cards in their opponent, and they finally take advantage.
First chance to see this Independiente team trailing in a game. We'll see how they react. Not a lot of time left in this first half. A bad turnover. Can Fernandez make it worse? Still time for this Red Bulls team to double their lead. Good interchange there. JP Marin gets it wide. D'Andrea has switched sides again. He megs his defender. Is able to stay on the ball. Now he's got Lopez. Gets by Lopez just at the last second. Lopez able to get in with the tackle. But this New York Red Bulls team playing with confidence right now.
And if that first tackle had connected, it would have been a red card because that was the left back, Christian Valencia, who's already on a yellow.
So Randall Kelly calls to close this first half. What a half of action. Big saves on both ends. Post hit on both sides. And just at the last minute, the New York Red Bulls get their deserved lead. 1-0. Jonathan, what do they have to do coming out of halftime now to be able to come away with the trophy?
Don't change anything. Terrific first half from the New York Red Bulls. You want them to keep going. You want them to stay on the front foot. Just make sure those outside backs don't get caught. We see that O'Toole likes to get forward. Be careful. Independiente is going to have to make the changes. And it could be restructuring that midfield triangle, getting a little bit more bite in there to stay tight to Gilby and keep New York from moving the ball. But it's going to be tough. The Red Bulls were far and away the better team.
We've seen great dribbling. We've seen quality goal-scoring chances, huge saves, 4 yellow cards already in this first half. Do not look away. We'll be back in 10 minutes with all your second half action here on MLSsoccer.com. David Goss here for MLSsoccer.com. 2015 Generation Adidas Cup Premier Division Championship game alongside Jonathan Yardley. We've brought you all the action all tournament, but this game has been one of the best we've seen so far. The New York Red Bulls leading 1-0 over Deportivo Independiente Medellín, and Jonathan, end-to-end action in the first half.
That's everything you'd want in not just any youth soccer game, but any soccer game. End-to-end chances at in both goal mouths, really. Both goalkeepers making big plays, especially Xavier Kennedy, to keep the Red Bulls in it.
So second half here to kick off. Second 35-minute half. If the Red Bulls are leading at the end, they will be the champions and raise the trophy. If we're tied at the end of regular time, we go directly into penalty kicks. And early on here, it's Daniel Castro getting in. He gets by Xavier Kennedy and called offsides by our assistant referee, Jennifer Garner. And the New York Red Bulls, though, fortunate here. The opening seconds of the second half, this Independiente team showing that they're going to come out and attack.
Yeah, it's an adjustment, and it's kind of a different run than what we've seen from their wingers. They like to get the ball wide and go one-on-one. This was that diagonal run behind an outside back. And again, I'll say it, really the outside backs, maybe the most important defensive players for the Red Bulls, other than Xavier Kennedy today.
And you know that the head coach for Independiente, Jorge Baranoche, gets his team in at halftime, and he has an opportunity. This is the first time they've been on the back foot all tournament, first time they've trailed in the tournament. What's he saying to them to get them maybe to pick their game up? How does he change things up here in the second half?
Well, I don't know if my Spanish can quite match up to that exactly, but I think it's got to be vary your runs a little bit, look for different ways to attack, kind of as we were just talking about, than just one-on-one. And then it's got to be better movement off the ball defensively, tracking the Red Bulls midfielders.
So a corner kick opportunity here for the Red Bulls. 2-goal lead would be huge here in this game. Service comes in, won by Mario Lopez in the middle of the box. Cleared out, but the Red Bulls able to keep it in. No substitutions for either team coming out of halftime. One substitution for both teams in the first half. Romano with the tackle there in the corner. Mason Deeds goes down in a heap. He's holding his ankle. Randall Kelly, our head referee, issues his 5th yellow card of the game, all against Independiente. And while that might sound a little ridiculous, it's based on the run of play.
Yeah, you know people watching the game are going to say 5 yellow cards from an American referee.
Looks like his early leg, not the leg that gets the ball, but his other leg making contact with Mason Deeds, who's back up and okay.
But if you just look at the box score, you say 5 yellow cards, but they've all been warranted. There could have been more, to be honest.
This Independiente team struggling with this New York Red Bulls attack so far. Gilby with the service. Alive in the box, gets headed down. Still free, shot comes in from, it looked like Mingachos, and easily taken in the end by Perez. Kevin O'Toole here, one of those first half substitutes, came in place of Noah Powder, who had to go out with an injury.
And he commits the foul there, but we've liked what we've seen from Kevin O'Toole so far.
This Independiente team has been lethal this tournament. 10 goals scored, only 2 conceded. Their center forward, number 123, Nasir Carmona, the leading goal scorer in the tournament in either division with 5 goals. Will most likely win the Golden Boot of this Premier Division. Good control here from the Red Bulls after Independiente came out early with that first quick opportunity. You know they're going to have to attack. Can the Red Bulls maintain their attack, though, in the second half is the question. D'Andrea loses the ball. Ivan Mora, the midfield maestro of this team, who's looked so poised and composed throughout this tournament, and he picked up a yellow card late in that first half. He just looked frustrated.
I think this entire Independiente team is frustrated, and that's what you're seeing in some of these tackles. They're half a step behind the Red Bulls, and they're frustrated. So when those two combine into a slide tackle, it's bad news.
Valencia here with the throw-in. As this Independiente team tries to change up the pace of play, the New York Red Bulls immediately came out. First minute of action offensively. They pushed the attack early on. Couldn't get a goal over those first 10-15 minutes off all of their good looks. And then Xavier Kennedy had to come out as a hero, saving one shot, tipping another one off the post, and then scrambling it out for a corner kick as Independiente countered with their own opportunities. On the other end, Brian Saramago hit the post. A couple good saves from Perez, and then finally we got the goal in stoppage time of the first half off a set piece. Kyle Perno with the header to give this Red Bulls team a 1-0 lead.
And we've seen already in the second half Independiente taking a bit more of the initiative. I think they want to switch the field more than they have, certainly more than they did in the first half, and try and get the Red Bulls chasing.
Mason Deeds down on the ground once again. He earns a free kick. Our referee, Randall Kelly, not going to issue another yellow card. Looked like the foul was called against Naisir Carmona. And this Independiente team, they like to space the field out because they love to play in isolation. The Red Bulls have done a good job of keeping bodies around the ball, not having one-on-one defending a lot. We saw Jerson Valencia take advantage of Noah Powder early in the game when he was able to get him one-on-one. So far, this midfield of Mingachos, as well as Gilby and J.P. Marin, have done a good job helping out their defenders.
And Gilby's really been the one who's impressed me the most. They have all been good. I'm not trying to say they haven't, but Gilby has stood out to me in that he's kind of the box-to-box guy. He sits on the defensive side and gets forward.
Castro gets by Teixeira here, puts the cross in. Carmona looking to take it down and cleared away by the Red Bulls. A long first touch from him. But now stuck in Independiente. More on that far post. Teixeira able to clear. And you see now this Red Bulls front line dropping deeper. And this Independiente team for the first time really controlling the attack, taking advantage of every clearance. And smartly played there by Sean Teixeira to let it run out for a goal kick for Xavier Kennedy. We knew this Independiente team had to attack. We know that they have the ability to do it. The question now is, how does Simon Nee's boys respond to that? Can they maintain some form of attack as well as Independiente pushes for the tying goal? Coaching staff unhappy with the amount of time Xavier Kennedy used to take that goal kick. Kevin O'Toole able to win it. Perno here, our goal scorer.
And you don't need to hit it long there. He had a short option that really would have made more sense. Of course, now it leads to a scoring chance.
D'Andrea here. D'Andrea out here has space. Gets it to Teixeira. Teixeira with the cross in behind everyone. Can J.P. Marin get there? He can. Lays it back. Good look once again for the Red Bulls. The attack still humming here in the second half. Gilby lays it off. Saramago's called offsides. But you see how dangerous these Red Bulls fullbacks can be if they get forward, and that's that tough balance between defending, doing your job, but also pushing forward. Sean Teixeira, a former forward, has been in U.S. Youth National Team camps listed as a forward, playing in that right back role throughout this tournament for the Red Bulls.
And the work between he and D'Andrea there was perfect. Perfect understanding, perfect timing.
Space here for Jerson Valencia. His cross bangs off Perno, still alive. A collision there, and O'Toole comes away with it. Clears it up the line. Kept in by the Red Bulls. They have a chance to counter now if they want to. They have at least even numbers. Smartly, I think, there from J.P. Marin not to rush that play. Letting it develop. Great work there from D'Andrea. Very calmly played right now by the Red Bulls. Out wide left. Looks like Saramago. He keeps it alive, and Perez reaching out, able to get a save on it. But early on in this second half, good to see the New York Red Bulls continuing to be dangerous and attack.
It's so interesting to see the different philosophies of these teams in the attacking third. The Red Bulls looking for combinations and looking to move it side to side. They switched the field twice there to get the defense moving. Independiente typically will just attack on the side they're on, often off the dribble. And I think they may need to find some more of that switching the field to open up the Red Bulls in this second half.
And Jonathan, I think one of the things we've seen in this game, Sagantos wanted that combination play, but they didn't also have the ability to take guys one-on-one. This Red Bull team, I think, has shown an ability to do a little bit of both. Daniel Castro here in space, shoots it to the far post, off that far post. He beat Xavier Kennedy, a powerful drive, bounces off that post, and for the second time in this game, Jonathan, the post has come up and saved this New York Red Bulls team. Fernandez looking to go the other way.
And again, it was that diagonal run behind an outside back, and it's just something O'Toole and Teixeira need to be aware of and react to better.
Saramago here gets it to the box. Can he create a chance as well? Across the face, still alive. D'Andrea. Good 1-2 between him. It looked like Gilby knocked out for a corner kick. And we're seeing a little bit Nasir Carmona making space now for Daniel Castro to get isolated on that through ball. There's no center back helping Sean Teixeira twice now on those through balls. Corner kick here for the Red Bulls. They're in no rush to take. D'Andrea takes it short. Gilby there with the cross straight to Independiente defender. Great work by the Red Bulls, though, to win it back. Mason Deeds trying to keep it in. Well played there by Marin. And a miscommunication between the Red Bulls, and it might allow for an Independiente counter. Daniel Castro down the left. He's got a wide open Valencia if he could get there. Perno makes the tackle. Randall Kelly right on top of it. And we have a penalty kick.
No, that's wrong. That's outside the box.
Kyle Perno is furious. We already said the Red Bulls have conceded once before from a penalty. The only goal they've given up in this tournament. This Red Bulls team furious as Mason Deeds tries to talk to Randall Kelly, and he's saying it's outside the box. And here we have the replay. Kyle Perno, it's right on top of the box. I think Randall Kelly giving it as a penalty kick because Perno gets the ball first and then takes the man down. And the captain, Ivan Mora, here to step up to try and even this game. Independiente hit the post just minutes ago, and here is Xavier Kennedy. The pre-K show that we've seen Tim Krul-esque side to side. Now he gets to hang on the crossbar a little bit. It works so well for him against Recife. He saved 2 penalties as well as 1 player missing. He said he got it from watching Tim Krul in the World Cup last summer. And Mora shoots, guesses the right way to Kennedy, but Ivan Mora, the captain, with his second goal of the tournament, and he's able to bring this team even. So Independiente Medellín has fought hard all game, and they're finally able to get the equalizer.
And they've got a message for us, too.
Independiente Medellín has battled. They were on the back foot throughout the first half. They haven't been that way all tournament. Struggled to deal with it a little bit. And Jonathan, we talked about that balance between attack and defending for the Red Bulls. While it's a questionable penalty kick call, it's not questionable that Independiente was in on the counter. They had numbers in attack. That's when they're at their most dangerous. They don't wait. They start to push the ball, and the Red Bulls had to make that saving tackle from Perno. Randall Kelly makes the call, and now we're tied up at 1-1. So how do these two teams respond now? 35-minute halves, like we said, about 13 minutes into this first half. Plenty of time now for both teams to try and get a regular time winner. If still tied, we will go straight to penalty kicks. Perno there with the mistake. Nasir Carmona looking to counter. Great cover there from the substitute O'Toole.
This Red Bulls backline is getting caught with only 2 players deep against the Independiente counterattack far too often.
Independiente now a little bit of confidence for them. They've got that opening goal. We expected a lot of goals in this game. We've seen Independiente hit the post twice. We've seen saved off the line for both teams, as well as a goal both ways. But you'd be surprised if this one ended at 1-1, wouldn't you, Jonathan?
I would be.
I've surprised you.
It is certainly open and likely to stay that way because Independiente keep their wingers high, and when they defend, they can clear long and have an odd man rush. There's that term again, and have a numbers up attack real quick.
Poorly taken free kick. JP Marin here looking to launch the counter attack for the Red Bulls. Saramago's done a good job spreading out wide and picking up the ball.
Yeah, but he's only got one move there. He goes end line every time.
And the thing for Saramago is he doesn't really have options down the middle
Right.
when he takes himself out wide. Someone for the Red Bulls has to make that run and get in there. We saw...
But if they're not, he needs to make a different decision. Pull the ball back, bring it back to your midfielders, and you get in the box.
And wait for those numbers. We saw in the second game against Recife, Kyle Casey did a good job coming off the wing, making himself kind of a second forward to help out the attack, and he eventually got the goal in that game.
We're going to see him. I have a feeling.
Both these teams allowed 5 substitutions in this game. They've both used one already in the first half. When substituted, you are not allowed to return. Noah Powder with an injury, and Brian Zulaga for Independiente Medellín, which we think is because he was sitting on a yellow card and had made a dangerous tackle or two after, and this Independiente team didn't want to get down a man.
There's still 4 other Independiente players now on yellow cards in the game.
Valencia able to draw a foul there. Daniel Castro, who came off the bench in the last game and was a major part of the build-up to their second goal that John Gutierrez finished. Carmona goes to the ground holding his left knee. Randall Kelly right on top of it, doesn't call a foul, and the Red Bulls will continue to play.
Yeah, they're not going to be too sympathetic to that.
Saramago just could not get a touch to that little pass, and now Randall Kelly will go back, although Carmona's back up on his feet. Carmona in the last game injured when he scored, was forced to sub out. He's been down already once in this game, but they chose to keep him in the game. And we're quite happy about that because he's a fun player to watch, and he is a great personality on the field. Free kick called against Carmona there.
Yeah, he was actually offside coming back to play the ball, and once the Red Bulls weren't able to do much with it, Jennifer Garner's flag had been up. Randall Kelly made the call.
So a restart here for the Red Bulls. New York Red Bulls came out, dominated the first 10 minutes. Medellin had 2 great looks after that. The Red Bulls finally get the goal on a set piece in stoppage time of the first half. Here now in the second half, it's been even both ways. Both teams have attacked. Independiente, of course, coming out of halftime, had that mindset. They had to get a goal. They eventually got one off the penalty kick. And now we have the Red Bulls' first yellow card of the game. And it looks like it's going to go to Jared Gilby.
That almost felt like team persistent infringement. But the adjustment Independiente has made, or one of them, much tighter in the midfield. They're almost trapping the Red Bulls into passes that were simple and easy in the first half. And in the second half, Independiente is jumping them and starting that counter.
Mora launches this free kick, and we saw in the first half Independiente struggling to defend, getting caught late on a lot of tackles, picking up yellow cards. Now Independiente attacking a little bit more, and more free kicks being called against the Red Bulls. Interception there for Gilby. He's got a lot of space looking for an option. Finds Marin. Marin, the through ball to Fernandez. Fernandez is going to beat Romagna there. Couldn't get an opening to cross, and good defending.
The center backs were so deep from Independiente there. They're sitting deep, right? Have the Red Bulls been called offside today? Maybe once, and none from the run of play, really? That's something New York can take advantage of.
You like that to see that midfield drive into that open space. We've seen the Red Bulls shooting from the top of the box throughout the first half. Cross comes in, alive at that near post, off of an Independiente defender and out for another corner kick. Just about 20 minutes into this second half here. Corner comes in, cleared away at the near post by Mazzo. And we saw consistent end-to-end action in the first half. great attacking play between both these teams. In the second half, good opportunities for both teams, but the game has not been as stretched as what we saw in the first half.
One thing we like to see is it's not as warm as it was on Thursday, and so you feel like these players will have no trouble staying active through all 70 minutes. So I don't think it's going to peter out in the last 20 minutes. I think both teams, as you said, would much rather win it in regulation.
And one of the great things about this tournament this year, an off day after the semifinal, before the final, allowing these teams to rest up and really play at their peak in this final, when a lot of times in tournaments, the semifinals, when the players really have the most legs and show the best. But this has been the most well-played game for the New York Red Bulls of the tournament so far. For Independiente, they've struggled a little bit with that, but we've still seen that quality and that flair from their attacking front four throughout. Unfortunate deflection here. Turns over to Independiente. Castro on the left. Trying to run at Teixeira. Teixeira gets the block in well. Deeds able to come away with it. The Red Bulls here a chance potentially to counter. Great look there from Gilby. Marin and Gilby, 2-1-2s. Marin can't get to that second one. Romagna here will look to clear. He does. It'll be a throw into the Red Bulls. Good 1-2 soccer there down that right wing.
Oh, Gilby and Marin really on the same page.
Gilby here growing into this game here in the second half. Defended well in the first half. Really running the attack now. Marin with the cross in, cleared out again by Romagna. Teixeira there with the missed touch. Independiente looking to immediately counter. They throw it right down his wing. Carmona and Deeds in a battle, and a battle between two of the best players we've seen in this tournament so far.
Yeah, and Deeds got caught on the play that led to the penalty kick. It wasn't all his fault on the play, but he made a tackle that, had it connected, would have been a yellow card.
And Sean Teixeira on that play as well, up the field, and it was a set-piece opportunity for the Red Bulls, so you want to push numbers up, but we just see how dangerous this Independiente team is on the counter. Rodrigo D'Andrea will exit. The last time in this game, Kyle Casey checking in for him. Kyle Casey, already a goal in this tournament. The tying goal in the group stage against Hasifi. He's able to make out an open play. He'll go immediately on that wing. We'll see him and Fernandez swap sides throughout this half. This Red Bulls team does a good job of changing it up, but Casey, a similar player to Andrea.
Now, even defending this, Independiente has 3 players near the halfway line, and the Red Bulls having to respect that with 4 deep defending.
Gilby floats it in. Perez has it lined up at the far post. Good job from him to reach up and get it. And then he throws a forearm into the face of, it looks like Mason Deeds. Mason Deeds down for the 4th time. And that happened right in front of the referee, Randall Kelly. While he may have been reacting to something, you cannot imagine that that's anything but a red card. He stopped and turned around and gave a forearm purposely to the face of Mason Deeds. Romagna also on the ground on the far side. Randall Kelly now has a decision to make. 5 yellow cards already in this game. 6, between the two teams. A penalty kick as well. And what will he do here? He's still waiting. A yellow card to Mason Deeds and a straight red card now to Perez. So this game is about to change. The goalkeeper for Independiente Medellín, a straight red card. Randall Kelly took his time, made his decision. Jonathan, you can't really disagree with that.
Yeah, he actually called the initial foul on Deeds, and so I wasn't sure what the response would be. But as you said, contact that high is just not allowable at any level, anywhere.
And right in front of the referee, so blatant in that it wasn't a part of the play. He turned around to try and give Deeds a message, and now Perez, who has been very big in this game, has made some big saves, has controlled the box well on set pieces. You see it there, turns around, puts an elbow in Mason Deeds' face, and a red card. This game now about to change. Independiente Medellín will have to substitute in their backup goalkeeper. So they'll have to take a field player off. And you can't imagine it's going to be one of the attackers. Santiago Velasquez is the backup goalkeeper yet to appear so far in the tournament. Perez trying to plead his case to the fourth official. And he's saying, what did I do? He's saying, I turned around and he ran into me. But you could see the intent there on the play. So Santiago Velasquez, a big moment for him. A learning moment for him coming off the bench now. You got to think he's going to be a busy guy here, Jonathan, in this second half.
Yeah, we saw the Red Bulls against Asife. When Asife went down to 10, the Red Bulls pushed it, took advantage, finally tied that game, and won it in a shootout. And they're going to need to get back to some of that movement they showed in the first half. Having the extra space on the field should help.
So the red card unofficially in the 59th minute. And the substitution now for this Independiente team. The goalkeeper comes on. And coming out for this Independiente team is Jerson Valencia, the second leading goal scorer on this team. And you had to take out an attacker. A little surprised it's not Daniel Castro on the left. Jerson Valencia, not as much freedom in this game, Jonathan, as we've seen him have in the other games, and not as much success dribbling down that wing.
Yeah, Castro's been really good. Again, hasn't started all tournament. He's really good today and making another good run right now.
And Carmona here battling up top. And he goes down. He's going to get a free kick called. Randall Kelly trying to keep this one under control. And you got to say, for this Independiente team, you never want to be man down, but they're so dangerous individually in the attack. They're so quick on the counter that they still have an opportunity to win this game here in regular time.
They're still going to keep guys high at midfield during free kicks. Maybe it's 2, maybe it's 3, but they can still take apart a defense. And they're still tricky enough on the ball to earn set-piece chances like this one.
And you know Ivan Mora will like his chances from this area. He already has a penalty kick goal in this game to tie it up here in the second half. Red Bull scored in the first half. Independiente off a penalty here in the second half. We've seen 7 yellow cards and a red card issued in this game. What a championship so far. Mora with the shot. Easily taken there by Xavier Kennedy. And with just about 10 minutes left of regulation, plus what you have to think will be a sizable amount of stoppage time, the New York Red Bulls and Independiente Medellín facing off here 1-1 to try and win this championship. Saramago with the layoff to Fernandez. You got to think this Red Bulls team wants to at least test this goalkeeper early, get something on frame, see how confident he is coming off the bench.
And we saw when the Red Bulls played the LA Galaxy, a red card to LA, and LA actually looked more confident the next 5 minutes. The Red Bulls didn't handle it all that well. Once they finally did, of course, they scored the game's only goal, but they need to make that adjustment quicker here with only about 10 minutes or so left, depending on stoppage time.
The win there by Mingachos. Saramago able to keep it alive, eventually losing it out. Jonathan, we thought this was going to be a good matchup. We thought these two teams brought elements against each other that they hadn't seen so far in the tournament. We thought they were the two best teams in this division, but I don't think we could have anticipated this good of a game and this much action.
Yeah, we hadn't seen either team be as chippy as they have been today as well. There's not a lot of love lost between them.
Mingachos out wide to Teixeira. Collision there in the midfield, and that's a tough call, I think, against Cardona. It looked like a 50-50. Mingachos down on the ground after the play. Felipe Cardona.
There wasn't much space in the midfield there. Independiente was dropping numbers back.
And this Independiente team, you have to think, feels like they can score through Carmona alone and really defend with all their numbers, which they'll have to. Substitution coming up for the New York Red Bulls. Bratislav Pekoric will check in. He'll check in replace of Omir Fernandez. So Bratislav Petrovic coming in. We'll see if he goes straight out to that left wing where Fernandez has been operated. Very good game today for Omir Fernandez. Set piece comes in at the far post. First touch of the game for Velasquez. He comes out, thunders that ball away. Still alive now. Mason Deeds with the header, but he can't get it on frame. And it looks like Ivan Mora, the captain, is down. And the head coach, Jorge Baranoche, not happy.
Yeah, and really strong by Velasquez coming out there. That's what they needed off the bench. That was really his first test. It was a good punch. And he cleaned out Saramago in the process.
So Mora now down on the ground. Him and Carmona, the last two players this team wants to lose. You see Baranoche there on the sideline. Not happy. He wasn't upset in the first half with the referee. They kept getting yellow cards. He wasn't up in arms. He wasn't really yelling at the referee. Now a little bit more upset maybe after that red card, although he did get a penalty kick call in his favor. And to confirm for you that substitution, Bratislav Petkovic coming on for Omir Fernandez. This New York Red Bulls team has now used 2 of their substitutions, still 3 allowed. For Independiente, the same 2 substitutions as well. 1 in the first half for either team, now 1 in the second half, although required in the case of Independiente. Jonathan, about 5 minutes left here now in regulation, but you got to think
there's going to be a
5 minutes of stoppage time.
At least.
How much can the Red Bulls get forward and try and create this chance? And how much do they leave numbers back and worry about a Carmona and a Castro?
You got to be worried, but I say go for the win. But a lot easier said than done, and we told you those outside backs need to pick and choose their spots, only one go at a time. Kind of what normal logic would dictate. They just need to be more careful with it. Casey and Petkovic, good additions on the wings. I think D'Andrea was a little less effective, and Fernandez in the second half than the first, so this gives you a bit of a different look. Casey maybe going to come inside a bit more than D'Andrea.
And Gachos there pushed in the back. He earns the foul. And we saw the Red Bulls in the group stage playing Recife for really the lead. Probably they knew at the time the win for the group. Tied 1-1. They pushed for that second goal throughout the end of regulation. Simon Nee said, we always go out there to win. They fought. They ended up going to penalty kicks where Xavier Kennedy, we already said, was highly successful. So they have that ace up their sleeve if they need to. If it goes to PKs. Carmona away, trying to win in regulation. Perno out to defend him. The shot comes in from Carmona. Easily taken by Xavier Kennedy.
Yeah, but you see how dangerous it is if the Red Bulls aren't sharp with their passing at the back. And so far, that's been one area of concern.
JP Marin dropping deep here.
Yeah, they're dropping 8 and the goalkeeper behind the ball. The forward Carmona all by himself.
Deeds, as well as Perno, back to watch him. Teixeira sitting back as well, but the rest of the Red Bulls pushing up for the attack. O'Toole with the throw-in. Saramago, 2 goals so far in this tournament, leads this team. Would love to get his 3rd here. Get his team a regulation win, not have to deal with that penalty kick stress again. Now we do have to mention this Red Bulls team, while Xavier Kennedy saved 2 penalty kicks, had 2 saved themselves against Recife. So you got to wonder who will step up this time to shoot. As that one goes out.
And it's clear Independiente, while they'll look for the counterattack, is comfortable going to penalty kicks at this point. And that makes it very difficult for the Red Bulls to make that in-game adjustment to playing against a team that's packing it in when the game had been so open for 55 minutes.
Simon Nee still a few substitutions left for him if he wants to try and change this game up some more. He's already brought in 2 new wingers in Petkovic and Casey. Mason Deeds with the battle there. He's got an arm high up in the face there of Gutierrez. Call goes in favor of him. The jersey pulling from Gutierrez gets the foul. And Mason Deeds now, the captain, will take this set piece and looks to switch the field. Kevin O'Toole, you have to say, came into this game We talked about how important the fullbacks would be. Came in off an injury in the first half all of a sudden and has been brilliant since he's come in. Out for a throw-in. Independiente in no rush, trying to take the energy in the air out of this game. Good win there from Teixeira. Looking to start the attack, see if they can get at Independiente before their numbers can get back. One in the end, though, by Cardona. Castro looks to get away. Mason Deeds with the heavy collision.
And he's on a yellow.
He's sitting on that yellow card. And he
That's going to be it.
And that's going to be the game for the captain here. Mason Deeds, he receives his second yellow card. And a red card to him in the 71st minute. Right as they entered stoppage time, and now we're even here. 10-on-10 to end this game. What an eventful second half and 4 minutes of stoppage time. But you got to think there's going to be even more than that with this call. Jonathan Mason Deeds there in the open field went heavy shoulder to shoulder, picking up his second yellow card here in the second half.
Yeah, I think when you're on a yellow card, that's not a challenge you make. But obviously he's worried about numbers getting in behind and keeping it 1-1. Compared to some of the fouls that we've seen earlier, it's not much, right? The yellow's for tactical. But you still have to wonder if Zuluaga had made the tackle in the second half that he made in the first. Out.
Teixeira here called with the foul, and now he's going to get a yellow card for complaining from Randall Kelly.
You feel for Mason Deeds, who, for our money, had been one of the players of the tournament in this.
We apologize while our feed is down. We'll continue in as this free kick's taken, crossed in, cleared away by the Red Bulls. Medellin here in the midfield trying to keep it alive. Ivan Mora blasts a long shot that's going to go wide of the goal and out for a goal kick. My rough calculation, 9 yellow cards and 2 red cards shown in this game. Of course, Deeds picking up 2 yellows, so that's 2 yellows plus a red. We've seen great goal-scoring opportunities. We've seen red cards. We've seen drama. It's been really the perfect final so far, Jonathan.
And the Red Bulls look a little lost at the back in terms of those center backs and figure out what shape they're going to play with only 10 players.
Cleared away now by the Red Bulls. Casey finally able to get it clear. And Mason Deeds, the vocal leader of this team, wears that captain's armband, the rock at the back, so a tough loss for this team. As you have to say, for Independiente, Velasquez has come on and has given them confidence in that goalkeeper position. Independiente now not trying to waste time, even 10-10. You got to think that's to their advantage. They like to play in open space. They like to get isolated. The more space with less players on the field.
So Mingachos has gone to center back with Perno for New York.
So the Red Bulls now maybe looking to hold on to get to penalties after it looked like they would have the opportunities to win it in regulation. Off the yellow card in the 59th minute for the goalkeeper Perez of Independiente. But Mason Deeds picks up his second yellow and a red card just 10 minutes later. And the Red Bulls they didn't get any goal-scoring looks when they were man up in those 10-minute span.
It's kind of incredible how different the two halves have been. The Red Bulls were the best team by a wide margin in the first half. And the second half was much more even. I don't know that Independiente was better, but they get the call on the penalty kick, and now they get the matching red card. Give them a lot of momentum if we go to a shootout. Xavier Kennedy notwithstanding.
Throw in here. The New York Red Bulls facing off against Deportivo Independiente Medellin here in their Premier Division Finals at the 2015 Generation Adidas Cup. David Goss and Jonathan Yarley bringing you all your action all week. We've got 2 finals today, and this first one has just been incredible. Great action both ways as Petkovic gets that taken off his foot, and that's the last play of regulation. Randall Kelly blows his whistle, and he had a day. 9 yellow cards, 2 red cards, 1 to either team. A goal in the first half, a penalty kick call in favor of Independiente here in the second half, and now, Jonathan, the dreaded penalty kick shootout.
Unfortunately, we've seen too many of these Generation Adidas Cup finals decided by penalty kicks. We're going to have another one here in the Premier Division. Tough to say where the advantage lies here because you have Xavier Kennedy and the Red Bulls, so they've already won a shootout, so they're confident in that respect. Santiago Velasquez has just played his first 10 minutes of the tournament for Medellín. On the other hand, I think Independiente are happier just to get to this point. They got a borderline penalty kick call and literally the borderline of the penalty area. They were dropped to 10 men, and then they got kind of a reprieve in the red card to Mason Deeds. And so they may feel a little bit more like a team of destiny heading into this shootout.
New York Red Bulls have already faced the penalty kick shootout in this tournament. In the second group stage game in the tournament in this Generation Adidas Cup, ties in the group stage go to a penalty kick shootout for an additional point. The New York Red Bulls won that. Xavier Kennedy saved 2 shots. One was wide. Ryan Mingachos of this New York Red Bulls team put away the last penalty to get the victory for the Red Bulls. We've already seen Ivan Mora, the captain, number 120 for this Independiente team, step up and score a penalty kick in this game. And we'll look to see who will shoot for the New York Red Bulls. Jonathan, it's always tough for when finals go to penalty kicks, but a lot of times it's because either team's afraid to lose. Not the case here today. Just 2 teams evenly matched playing a phenomenal soccer game.
Yeah, fun game. I think you and I wouldn't mind watching another 20 minutes of these two. We could have had a 90-minute game today. Of course, we probably would have preferred it was 11 on 11. And so they both end up with a tie. The Red Bulls really, again, have to feel strong about the first 35 minutes, and they're going to have some regrets about the second 35 minutes. But the shootout certainly is a test of nerves, that's for sure.
And we have to point out in the last, it does look like the Red Bulls are out as if they're going to play here out on the field.
Whoa.
So we have
new rules.
We have a great change up here, and why not? Let's get some more of this game, huh, Jonathan Yardley? We are going into 2 5-minute overtimes, no golden goal, to find ourselves a winner, to try and avoid the dreaded penalty kick final. 10-on-10 action. We got a hockey game going here, and Jonathan, why not is really what you have to ask.
I love the decision. I wish someone had thought that telling us would be a good idea. But I love seeing a little overtime before we go to the shootout, and especially these 2 teams in a 10-on-10 situation.
Well, mentally, we're prepared for PKs, but these 2 teams have a lot to play. And so, Jonathan, 10-on-10 now. Mason Deeds going out late. We haven't really seen the Red Bulls play without him in this tournament. How do you expect these 2 teams to try and play out this extra time period?
I'm hoping they both go for the win, and certainly we saw Independiente doing that near the end of the second half.
And a substitution for the New York Red Bulls, J.P. Marin, coming out here in this game, and Kazu Shingabu coming in at center midfield. Kazu checked in the last semifinal to help close it out in the victory over the in the semifinal in the victory over the LA Galaxy. No changes so far that we can see for Independiente as we begin the first of the anticipated 5-minute, 10-minute extra time, 5-minute halves. Either way, Gutierrez and Carmona will kick it off. Carmona's been a threat all game, even when his team went man down. He still actually put the only 2 shots on goal of the game. Morris starts us off quickly. Ryan Mingachos has dropped back into that center back role alongside Perno. Kevin O'Toole here at left back came in the first half as a substitution for the injured Noah Powder. Gilby still in the midfield alongside Kazu Shingabu. Kyle Casey out here on the right. Another substitute. Petkovic on the left side, the substitute. And the forward, Saramago, who's played this full game. This Independiente team. Santiago Velasquez has come into goal for Perez, who left with that red card. Alejandro Mazo still at right back. Romagna and Lopez, the center backs. Christian Valencia, the left back. You have to say the center backs have played a very good game so far as that foul call goals against Gilby. In the midfield, Ivan Mora, as well as the substitute, Felipe Cardona. Jan Gutierrez, Nasir Carmona, and Daniel Castro, the three attackers for this Independiente team.
You got to say, so far, Independiente has adjusted better to playing with 10 men. We haven't seen the Red Bulls find any kind of rhythm, just blind clearances like that when there's probably space on the field for more composed passing.
Yeah, you see Petkovic at the bottom of your screen, wide open, and Teixeira does finally recognize him, gets it to him in space. He's got O'Toole coming up his left-hand side. Saramago looking to flick on for them, and Romagna clears. Still alive, though, for the Red Bulls. Petkovic touches it by Lopez, but straight to the feet of the goalkeeper Velasquez, and it looks like this Independiente team keeping the same formation. Gutierrez in the attacking midfield, and then he'll push out wide right at times, but no permanent right midfielder, and so Kevin O'Toole maybe will get some room to attack from that left back position for the Red Bulls.
Red Bulls going with Shigenobu and Gilby in the midfield, kind of a 4-4-1. Petkovic and Casey, the wide men who will push high with the ball, drop deep without it.
Casey here trying to put some pressure on, wins that ball, gets by Valencia into the box. Hand is up, free kick right on top of the box. Very close to a penalty kick the other way.
And he had advantage. So debatable which is more favorable, moving into the box with the ball or taking the free kick just outside it.
Jennifer Garner's flag went up. Randall Kelly makes the call, set piece right on the edge of the box. Mason Deeds, the hulking center back who's been a factor in the air on all of these set pieces. Not on the field, of course, but our goal scorer, Kyle Perno, the other center back, is up in the box, along with Casey, Saramago, and Petkovic. Gilby standing over this one. Jared Gilby to take. 3 minutes into this 5-minute first half of extra time, right on top of the box. Mingachos with the shot. It takes a deflection and in. Ryan Mingachos, the great set piece for the Red Bulls, and he goes to the corner flag. The little Cristiano Ronaldo from him. The New York Red Bulls leading 1-0 here in the extra time. Mingachos with the goal. And Jonathan, definitely an advantage to take this set piece here.
Well, we saw the space. We saw everybody from the Red Bulls was at the back post. Mingachos just kind of hanging out. Knew that space was there. Gilby squared it. And what a hit from Mingachos. Again, weren't sure. It looked, as you said, like there was a slight deflection on there. We don't know which team it came off of. Right now, I'm giving Mingachos the goal because he hit the heck out of that.
And for Velasquez, really nothing he can do. That deflection happening so close to him. No chance to react for the backup goalkeeper. And now, this Independiente team, for the second time today, will have to try and come back. 5 minutes of extra time here in this first half, and then we'll have an additional 5 minutes plus stoppage time in the second half of overtime here in the Premier Division Generation Adidas Cup 2015 Championship.
Little too wide open there from Petkovic, but he wins the ball back.
So Ryan Mingachos, he scored the winning penalty kick when they did go on into PKs against Sisifi. Maybe would have had to step up and do that again if this one went to penalty kicks, but trying to take care of business in the open play, and you can't say this lead for the Red Bulls isn't deserved.
And again, caught us by surprise as far as the rule change and having overtime, but I love it. I love that we're doing this and trying to find a winner, not going straight to PKs, giving them a little bit of an extra chance. And the Red Bulls took it with that rifled shot from outside the box.
So 5 minutes left for Independiente Medellín to try and fight their way back. What a matchup we've had. Red Bulls came out, dominated the play the first 15 minutes. Then Independiente Medellín hit the post after that. Xavier Kennedy, fingertip save to push it onto that post. Red Bulls got their goal finally off a set piece. Kyle Perno, right at the end in extra time of the first half, gets that goal. In the second half, a penalty kick called against Perno himself. Ivan Mora slotted it home. Xavier Kennedy guessed the right way but couldn't make the save. We had a red card initially for Camilo Perez, the goalkeeper of Independiente, in the 60th minute. 10 minutes later, Mason Deeds himself given a second yellow and called for a red card and sent off in the 70th minute. Now in the first 5 minutes of extra time, Ryan Mingachos with the goal off the tricky set piece for the Red Bulls. And Independiente Medellín forced to fight back. David Goss and Jonathan Yardley here on MLSsoccer.com. If you like this, our championship division final still coming up, 7:15 Central Time, 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time on MLSsoccer.com. But boy, has this one been a treat. Drama, skill, attacking play, everything you'd want, goal line clearances, the whole shebang here in this first championship. And the New York Red Bulls right now, 5 minutes for them, if they can hold on, get themselves that championship trophy. Over the head of Teixeira. Castro on the ball. Gets it up to Mora. Mora tries that quick outside of the foot chip to Gutierrez, who you have to imagine is going to be high up on the field almost full time here in this second overtime period.
Well, I just tried to pull up the replay, and I couldn't see a clear deflection, so I think this is going to be Mingachos' goal. We'll check with the Red Bulls after. Saramago was lurking, but I don't think anyone else touched it.
And so much for these players to deal with mentally, the emotion of this game, being up and then giving up a penalty kick for the Red Bulls, dealing with the red cards on both sides. Even when you go up a man, it's still an emotional hit that you have to still be able to focus in a game after a stoppage like that, in a moment like that. The Red Bulls have done well so far to handle all the different moments in this game. Carmona taken down, a free kick. And we have heavy substitutions now coming on for this Independiente team. 3 substitutes are going to come on. It looks like the fullback Alejandro Mazo will go off.
They're just going to take off all the defenders and put on all forwards, right?
In place of Jaime Geraldo. Only the one sub made so far. Romano with the win on that set piece, but flashes it wide of the post. So it's 2 more substitutions coming. A player we saw in the semifinals, Julian Lemos, number 124, will come on. As will number 107, Sebastian Bolaños. And as you said, all of the defenders, so Alejandro Mazo as well as Christian Valencia, have come out. And it looks like John Gutierrez will also check out. Julian Andres Lemos going in at the back line right now. Felipe Cardona pushing high in place of Gutierrez.
This appears to be the old 1-4-4 formation.
The classic formation that every team always uses when putting in all attackers while down to 10 men in an unexpected overtime of a championship final. The action, you gotta say,
it's fun.
I've had a smile on my face all day. This has been a great game here. What a treat to close out with such a quality played game between 2 opponents, very evenly matched. A great game plan from Simon Nee coming in for the New York Red Bulls. They were aggressive. They didn't show too much respect to this Independiente team, which they felt that they did against Recife in their first opposition against international opponents. Saramago here on a little bit of space, tried to find Kyle Casey. And Independiente able to find enough defenders to clear that one away. A throw in now to the Red Bulls. Looks like Romagna, the center back, playing higher up the field. Now limping a little bit. He's waiting to go up to center forward if his team can win the ball back. And they do. It's shielded onto him. Finds the feet of Cardona. Cardona's pass is blocked. Great work there for the Red Bulls, and then the foul called in the end.
But honestly, better by Shigenobu to take the foul than to let that ball be played upfield. Now the Red Bulls can get behind the ball.
4 minutes officially so far in this second overtime. We don't know how much stoppage time would be added by our head referee, Kelly. Still alive. Xavier Kennedy comes out. He punches alive. Kevin O'Toole with the clearance. Xavier Kennedy got beat in the air. Kevin O'Toole does the right thing. He follows up his goalkeeper's play and clears that one, not off the line, but it was going in if he wasn't there. Flicked on there from Lemos. Still alive for this Independiente team. Trying to get that tying goal, push this one into penalty kicks. And we have our full time. It took them 80 minutes, 10 extra minutes in this game, but the New York Red Bulls are Premier Division champions, and Jonathan, you have to say they deserved it.
What a tournament run from the Red Bulls. Had to be disappointed not to qualify for the top flight, but they made the most of this one. And they were the better team today over, yes, 80 minutes. And they got really tested and came through. Both goals actually come from set pieces because the Red Bulls were so elusive in the midfield and were getting pulled down.
Ryan Mingachos gets the winner in overtime off that set piece play. Independiente Medellín frustrated with themselves. They dominated throughout the tournament, outscored their opponents 10-2, never really tested at any game, but the New York Red Bulls slowly grew from game 1 to game 2 to game 3 into the semifinals, where they fought a victory and squeaked it out against the LA Galaxy, and they came in here, they played with confidence, they pushed this Independiente team throughout the first half, finally get the goal just before halftime from Kyle Perno. They concede on a questionable penalty kick call in the second half. They're still able to keep their heads to stay in this game. Mason Deeds picks up a yellow card to close out regulation. Camilo Perez, the goalkeeper of Independiente, also red carded in the 60th minute. And in overtime, the New York Red Bulls able to triumph over Independiente Medellín in a phenomenal final. And as you said, the deserved winners of the Premier Division Championship.
And neat to see after 8 yellow cards and 2 red cards in the game itself. Handshakes and hugs from the players. Mario Lopez from Medellín was down on the field. 2 Red Bulls players helped him up.
An immense battle from both these teams. Ivan Mora once again had a good game. Nasir Carmona was dangerous. Jerson Valencia, as well as John Gutierrez and Daniel Castro, the danger men coming in, tested this Red Bulls back line all day, but they did such a good job of communicating and staying composed. JP Marin with his best game of the tournament. Gilby and Mingachos controlling the midfield. Saramago, hold-up play up top was key in this victory. The fullbacks, Sean Teixeira, and you have to say, Kevin O'Toole coming in for an injured Noah Powder, facing off against Jerson Valencia on that wing. No mistakes from him. And the center backs for this Red Bulls team, as well as Xavier Kennedy, able to hold the line for a few minutes of emergency defending. And you see this Red Bulls team celebrating with their younger academy mates. Simon Nee has to be proud. This Red Bulls team, this Red Bulls academy has to be proud.
The Red Bulls always one of the top academy programs in Major League Soccer, and this is a great day for them. You see kind of the emotions, and always fun to have the younger age group, of course, with them. They're going to present the tournament awards now, which both teams from the final will be represented.
And it's rare to win a trophy as a soccer player. It's so tough to put yourself in the situation in single elimination games to get yourself a win. These Red Bulls players deservedly celebrating and enjoying it here today, because they're going to have an opportunity to lift this trophy and go out with the win. David Goss and Jonathan Yardley here for MLSsoccer.com We've seen this Red Bulls team now play 3 times, Jonathan, and what I've been most impressed with and what Simon Nee has talked to us about is how they've gotten better in each game. They've gotten more fluid. They've defended better, and you see there the captain, Mason Deeds, returning after his red card exit as this team gets themselves the win, and he'll be allowed to celebrate with his team.
Yeah, they were all really excited, and Xavier Kennedy ran over like he hadn't seen Mason Deeds in a month.
This Red Bulls team, a lot to be happy about. They conceded only 2 goals the entire tournament, both of them off penalty kicks. So in open play, this defense was impenetrable. They faced off against a tough Houston team in the first game, got themselves a 1-0 victory. It was Mason Deeds with the winning goal. In the second game, they came back after trailing 1-0 off that penalty kick to tie Recife 1-1. Kyle Casey got the goal. And then they took care of business in their third group game, a 2-0 victory over the Seattle Sounders. In a classic East vs. West battle in the semifinal, they got a 1-0 victory over the LA Galaxy. And then here in the final, coming out, really giving this Independiente team a shot in the mouth throughout this first half, pushing them back on their heels for the first time all tournament and getting themselves a victory. And this team celebrating now as they prepare to lift this trophy, the 2015 Generation Adidas Cup Trophy. A few members of this Red Bulls team were here last year, so now an opportunity to return and get the win. You see the highlight there of the game-winning goal. Ryan Mingachos and the celebration there for this Red Bulls team. Mingachos goes to the corner, gives himself a little Cristiano Ronaldo celebration over there in the corner. But great pace and the idea there. The understanding between him and Gilby. They don't have to communicate it to know that they're going to get that ball there as these two teams have their trophy celebration. Now, golden gloves will be awarded as well as golden boot for the top scorer and a golden ball, which is in the shape of a boot, for the top player.
Alfonso Mondello, Major League Soccer's technical director who oversees all the youth development systems addressing both teams, and Alfonso doing it in both languages, so it's going to take a little bit longer.
And he wanted to challenge these MLS teams. The purpose of this tournament is development. You get better from playing against the best. And he brought in some top-notch international academies in River Plate, Palmeiras, Eintracht Frankfurt, Independiente Medellín, Sagantos from Japan, to give these MLS academies a different look, different challenges you learn in victory and in defeat. And you can tell immediately, just within 3 days, Simon Nee said, we showed too much respect. We were a little bit too awed by Recife in the first time we played against an international opponent. We want to come out here today. We want to force the play early, and they were able to do that. As Nasir Carmona is going to be awarded the Golden Boot, the leading scorer in our tournament, 5 goals. The New York Red Bulls able to keep him under wraps. The only game in this tournament that he did not score here today. How are the Red Bulls able to do that, Jonathan?
They had good play from their center backs. They limited what Medellin was able to do in terms of getting service, and then Xavier Kennedy, our main man, rose to the occasion when called upon.
And we have to, anyone in Medellin watching this one, we have to thank them. This team has played phenomenal. Xavier Kennedy, as deserved, wins the Golden Gloves. 2 penalty kick saves against Recife. Hasn't conceded a goal from open play. Guessed the right way today on Ivan Mora's penalty kick attempt. Just couldn't make the save, but he was huge. And once again today, he kept this team in the game in the first half when it looked like they may go down while outplaying the Red Bulls.
Now this is the one I'm curious to see, MVP, because you had your leading scorer didn't score, Red Bulls captain got sent off, and it goes to Medellin's Ivan Mora.
Ivan Mora, the captain for Medellin, 3 assists so far in this tournament as well as 2 goals. Scored the lone goal for his team today. So he gets that golden ball, but we'll have to look on as the New York Red Bulls lift the championship trophy. What a tournament it was for Mora. But what a final it was for the Red Bulls. Fonzo will award it to this New York Red Bulls team, and they get to celebrate together. The New York Red Bulls, the 2015 Generation Adidas Cup Premier Division champions.
And nice for Mason Deeds, who got the red card, to be able to come back and lift the trophy as the captain. Great afternoon for the Red Bulls, winning the Premier Division title in overtime. Doesn't get much more dramatic than a game-winning free kick from Ryan Mingachos in overtime. Jared Gilby assisted both goals from set pieces. Kyle Perno scored the first late in the first half. And the New York Red Bulls have been so successful in development academy play, but this is another title they're going to cherish.
So the New York Red Bulls get a 2-1 victory in overtime. The opening goal of this game to Kyle Perno. Ivan Mora came back with the game-tying goal. Ryan Mingachos with the winner in extra time. And the New York Red Bulls come away with a championship trophy, a phenomenal game for us to watch. We'll have our second title game here, 7:15 p.m. Central Time, 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time, the Champions Division. Congratulations to the New York Red Bulls, as well as to Deportivo Independiente Medellín for a phenomenal tournament. For David Goss and Jonathan Yardley, thanks so much for watching us on MLSsoccer.com, and we look forward to having you join us later. Good day.